This week, we have another great local photographer. A photographer that specializes in astrophotography and landscapes. When did you start in photography, and is it your full-time job or is it just a hobby?
I started photography in 2012. I bought a second-hand Fuji FinePix camera. It wasn't a DSLR, but just a regular camera with a good zoom range from I think 18 up to 300. In 2014 I bought my first DSLR then. And well, now I have 4 DSLRs and about 8 lenses, so it's getting out of hand now. I'm not a professional photographer in terms of working full-time. I do have a full-time job. However, I do have quite a bit of flexibility with that job, so it allows me to travel and plan my workshops. In future, I would hope that at some stage I can become a full-time landscape photographer. It's very challenging just because the income streams for a landscape photographer are quite varied. You need to be doing quite a few different things, such as potentially selling prints, money from sponsorship, running workshops, those sort of things.
Can you give our viewers a teaser of what to expect next Thursday?
So next Thursday I'll be running through my whole journey in photography. I'm running workshops. I'm taking people on trips to help support them with their photography, looking at post-processing, different techniques that can be used in the field when capturing the images to make sure they're technically correct, how I started to get involved with landscapes, and how I began to practice and improve landscapes, to the stage I'm at now where I'm running workshops. I'm taking people on trips to help support them with their photography. We're looking at post-processing, different techniques that can be used in the field when capturing the images to make sure they're technically correct. It's also just planning and equipment as well. I think it's important to mention those things because in landscape photography, planning is extremely important to make sure you get the shots that you envision. But overall, it will just be kind of a journey through my whole experience in photography from the start to where I've got to now. And some of the techniques I use in Lightroom and Photoshop, such as masking and luminosity masks, to help blend photos together. These are some of the photos we'll be looking at throughout the presentation. Photos from quite a few different countries I've traveled to. Been lucky enough to see things like the Northern Lights, so we'll be able to see all these in the photos that we go through and a lot more on Thursday. We'll talk about planning these images, traveling to get to the destinations for these images, what I've done in the field technically to actually make sure that I've got the right exposure and focus in the image. And we'll also look at plenty of other images I've captured throughout my travels and on workshops. I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Thursday, 11th June 2020 at 6 p.m. CET, so I can share with you my photography and my journey so far in this art form.
Once again, I want to thank you for your kindness to share with us your passion and your expertise in landscape and in astrophotography.